So I guess I'm gonna just move on at this point and tell you the other thing that happened at that Lake Powell trip that I was like, this is really telling. So, I mean, at the time I didn't realize how telling it was, but once I processed everything, I was like, oh, So, yeah. So, before me and Trevor moved in together and got married, so we lived together, and then I moved back in with my mom and dad for a little bit, because the place we were renting, we didn't want to rent it anymore. And we needed to save up and figure out some finance stuff. So, don't eat raw dough. Yeah, so I moved back in with my parents for a little bit, and he moved in with brother B. And it was pretty fine. I mean, it was three guys at first living together, and then one of them moved out because he had a baby, and then Trevor stayed there for a little while longer. And so one day, after it'd been a while, over a year, that Trevor had lived with brother B. And at the time, I didn't understand exactly what had happened. I just knew that Trevor and brother B got in an argument, and hands were thrown, and then Trevor left and came to my parents' house where I was, and was like, can I move in here until we get a house? And I'm just like, I'm sure that's fine. We asked, they're like, yeah, that's fine. So he moved in for a few months while we looked for a house and got finances situated. So yeah, so I didn't really know what had happened, because I had asked Trevor, and he was just upset, and he didn't want to talk about it, so I didn't push it. And yeah, I just knew it had something to do with the garage, and because of that, I thought it had something to do with brother B's child's mother, and smoking in there and making the cars stink or something. That's what I thought it was about. I wasn't really sure. So I just knew it was about the garage, and hands were thrown. Yeah, so Trevor moves in and whatever, and life goes on. We got married, got a house, all that jazz. Well, we got a house and then got married, on my insistence. If you're gonna get a mortgage together, why not get married? So yeah, so then the Lake Powell trip, so me and brother B are the only ones who smoked pot, and regularly, and getting distracted, because it's just, I don't know, it's just weird. It's a lot to process, and it's just mind-blowing. It's just mind-blowing, once you realize what's going on, and that you've just been living this life for your whole entire life, and never batted an eye twice at it, and in fact you thought other people were doing things wrong, and it's like, no, I was doing everything wrong, me, yay! So yeah, so we're on the trip, and me and brother B at some point are smoking together, and we go up top to go smoke, and brother B's like, so can I ask you a question? And I'm like, sure. And he says, So what did Trevor tell you happened when he moved out of my house? And I was like, he really didn't tell me. I just kind of assumed, like I said, that it had something to do with the girlfriend at the time smoking and in the garage, and it had something to do with the garage. And so I just figured, like, I don't know, because I knew like Trevor had asked to have I can't talk. Let me get a drink. Okay. I just knew before that Trevor had asked Brother B to ask her to not smoke in there. Because he didn't want like his car and his motorcycle smelling like cigarette smokes. And like that's totally understandable. Just like people don't smoke in their houses because they don't want it to smoke or smell like smoke, you know. It's the same thing. You throw these cookies in just a second. So yeah, that's what I say to Brother B. And excuse me. And he was like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah, like I didn't really dig too much into it because he didn't want to talk about it. And he was like, oh, okay. Okay. And then we didn't like talk about it anymore, even though he was the one who brought it up and like asked me what I've been told. And yeah, just looking back at that interaction. Oh, and like the thing he said before he asked me that to like butter me up, I guess, was we sit down before we, start smoking. And he goes, it's so nice to have someone to smoke with now. And I'm just like, yeah, that's fun for you, And then he asked me that, and it's just kind of like, seems a little manipulative and suspicious. And yeah, just bringing it up and not then like telling me your side of the story is very weird in my opinion. And then I did ask Trevor recently, like, what actually happened. And he said that he needed Brother B to move his car so that it was more like accessible in the garage, or something about moving the car. And Brother B was just like all upset about it and just kept like pushing his buttons and being like, I'll move the car when I want to move the car. This is my house. And he's drunk because he's always drunk. And I'm the one with the problem. It's just is so funny. Sorry, side note, but like certain people have been sitting there saying that like I can't be trusted because I smoke pot, and it's like I just started smoking pot and it honestly helped me remember and process shit. And my therapist even is like, people who smoke pot are a lot better at like processing stuff than people who don't. And yet Brother B has been drinking and doing drugs since he was a child, and he still has an issue with it. But I'm the one with the problem, the one who can just stop smoking to go and do whatever I need to do. I don't need it to function. Whereas my Brother B, as far as I've witnessed, needs alcohol and weed at the same time in order to function. Because he needs help. But people who hurt people can't really get help unless they admit that they're hurting people. So, but yeah. So I just found out that my Brother B was just, being like, oh, you need me to move the car, but I'll get to it because this is my house, and and then like Trevor kept asking because he needed the car moved. And then Brother B just got all pissed and was like, what, you think you're tough and blah, 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 and just started doing like that whole dumbass shit that fucking stupid people who get too drunk just think everything's a fight because someone's asking you something. And Trevor's just like, dude, what the fuck? And like, Brother B, if I'm understanding correctly, and I still might be off a little, and I'll get corrected if that is the case, but then Brother B just got super pissed and like threw a punch at Trevor, and Trevor was like, okay, fuck this, I'm out, like, and because he was just asking a car to be moved a little so that he could have access to his vehicles, like, what? I just, narcissistic behavior. It's just like once I realized that my parents and my brothers, especially Brother B and my mom, are narcissists, and just, yeah, it's just manipulative and bullshit behavior, and it feels good to talk about it. So thank you for letting me talk about it. Yeah, that's where I'm gonna end it today. But yeah, thank you for listening, watching, being here while I get things off me and just don't hold responsibility for other people's stuff that they should be holding the shame and the torment. And yeah, like I said, I'm done torturing myself. I did it for 28 years of my existence, and it feels good to be done. It feels good to finally be taking care of myself in a healthy way and not tolerating abuse anymore. It's nice. Leave a comment, like, share, follow, subscribe, all that. Take one more puff with you. And see you next time. Bye.